F1 cops a lot of flack for giving away free tickets to celebrities and influencers, movie stars and sports stars. Well, yesterday they garnered a whole host of positive publicity because down in pit lane there were half a dozen or so critically ill patients on stretchers being taken on a pit lane walk. So what was going on? Well, F1 had allowed Ambulance Wish Foundation Netherlands the opportunity for a number of volunteers to bring in some critically ill patients. They were on their stretchers, some of them were being fed oxygen, but all of them had smiles on their faces because they were getting to see up close their favourite sport. I posted these pictures on my Instagram channel and it was an absolute winner. So many positive comments, a lot of them saying, about time F1 looked after the general people and not celebrities. Now I understand why you have to invite celebrities and influencers into the paddock, but I also think what they did yesterday was magnificent. And it's not the first time I've seen that. Oftentimes I'll see F1 and the teams bring deserving people into the paddock, but I've never seen people on a stretcher in pit lane. So who qualifies for a visit under this scheme? I had a look through the organisation's website and they're involved with granting last wishes for the immobile and terminally ill. And flicking through the comments on the post, it was heartwarming to read things like, "This makes me cry," "A truly loving human gesture," "Amazing work that they're doing, helps so many people with making beautiful memories." Great to see love and caring in our otherwise harsh world. I was contacted by a relative of the man in the green hat here. Caroline was her name. Thank you, Caroline. She says that my sister's sick husband has severe cancer, doesn't have a lot of time left. She lives in Sweden and heard about it and wanted to get a copy of the picture for her sister and the man in question. Well, I've actually made that available to her, and in fact, if you are a relative of any of these people, just send me an email to kim@kimellman.com and I'll shoot you back the Dropbox link that has all those pictures of these people in it from yesterday. I'd like to see more of this in the future. Whether it'll happen, I'm not sure, but if there are organisations like this one here in the Netherlands, perhaps you might want to contact F1 and see if they're interested in doing something on a Thursday. And that really was the ideal day to do it, a Thursday pit lane walk. Might be a little bit trickier on one of the on-track days. So how about a quick round of applause for F1 and this particular organisation for making that happen yesterday. Now, I don't know whether any drivers actually made an effort to catch up with any of those patients who were on the stretchers, but one of the Instagram post comments suggested that indeed two drivers did, those being Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hulkenberg from Haas. So obviously those guys were in the garage, saw what was going on and made an effort. So imagine that was quite a lovely surprise. Now this is one track where Max Verstappen actually has security. A couple of big burly fellas show him around the whole weekend. I think there's one or two other races, but certainly the Dutch driver is in such big demand here that he needs it. If you have never been to Zandvoort, it's a really peculiar situation. It's probably not dissimilar to Miami, where the paddock is here and the garage is about 250 metres away. One of the great things about this race is that we get shuttled by trained drivers like this man from the front entrance to the stairs right in front of the media centre. And that's a real time saver. Let's talk fashion, shall we? Yesterday, Lewis Hamilton and George Russell were wearing their sponsor's kit, Tommy Hilfiger. George in this flowing jacket, the likes of which I've not seen him wear. What? No, I don't think I have. Anyway, I thought he looked stunning, as did Lewis, and I actually asked my Instagram followers to vote for the one they thought looked best. Who won? It was George Russell. Now, if you've never been to Zandvoort, it's a quirky seaside town. It's almost looks like it's mired in the 70s with a lot of their architecture, but if you get down to the centre of the town, which is about 2 and a bit kilometres from where I'm standing now in the paddock, it's a real buzz at night. This was the scene on Wednesday, setting up for what I imagine will be a throng of people enjoying themselves late into the night. Let's talk about the banking on the last turn here. It's quite special. How many degrees is it? And I ran up that slope yesterday a couple of times, and I can tell you it is a real grind, but it does make for spectacular racing coming into that last corner and leading down into the first corner where a lot of overtakes take place. Now, in the press conferences and all around the paddock yesterday, there was much chat that this could be the very last Dutch Grand Prix. Why is that? Well, I'm told that this race is primarily frequented by locals, so Dutch fans. And this year it's been a bit slow in selling because a lot of those Dutch fans are also Olympic supporters and spend a lot of their brass going to the Olympics. So come next year, we may find that this race doesn't exist, or it may even go year on, year off with Spa. Look, I like the place. I think it's great. The track's small, it's got its own special atmosphere, and I can tell you the fans on Sunday singing and chanting on the outside of Pit Straight, is a sight to behold. Oh, yesterday in the press conference I had to laugh because one reporter asked Max which was his favourite song. There were two. There's Super Max, 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 and then there's the second one. He danced around the answer. He didn't really care which one was played, but he was happy that the supporters were singing it out loud. My favourite? I'll go for Super Max. Well, exciting times for another Australian today, with Jack Doohan being announced as Pierre Gasly's running mate over here opposite me at Alpine. It's exciting news, and I know that a lot of Australians will be thrilled to hear that. I spoke to Jack going back a few weeks ago now, and he thought it was a very good chance and it was just a matter of time. So I actually went ahead and did a video, as I often do. I've got one already set up for Kimi Antonelli and a couple of other people. And in the event that something happens, bang, I've got a video, and that was the case today. That video of mine of Jack's went up a minute after the announcement. His dad, of course, is Mick Doohan, the legendary motorcycle rider. Now, he hasn't been seen here in the paddock today, and I'm recording this on Friday. But tomorrow, my time, I don't know when you're watching this, he'll be doing a press conference at 1 p.m, and I can tell you, he will be absolutely thrilled. And on the subject of Liam Lawson, I chatted with him today about when he's going to find out what's going on. He said it's frustrating. I've got one ready for him as well. Frustrating, maybe in a couple of months, but I can tell you my money's on him to get that Daniel Ricciardo seat. Not sure what's going to happen to Daniel if he does get that. Some talk today that Daniel might take over at Red Bull after Mexico, because Red Bull might say goodbye to Sergio after the Mexican race. There's a lot of money at stake there, obviously. What else have I got here? Stroop waffles. We always talk about them when we come to this race, and they were being handed out thick and fast today, and I did catch Daniel Ricciardo's eyes light up when he walked through the gates and saw one of his crew with a Stroop waffle, and he played up for the cameras. He wasn't the only one. Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda also were offered those tasty sweets. And I also noted today that Daniel Ricciardo has his own backpack from his sponsor Picardro. On the weather front, it was absolutely horrendous for a good hour this morning, but look at it now, the sun's out and it's quite glorious, although still a bit windy. Now, during FP1, at some point, George Russell drove his car onto the weighbridge. He wasn't required to do it, but his crew met him there, and I gather he was just doing it to confirm that they'd sorted out the issue, which, of course, lost him the last race in Belgium. It's quite funny, given there's such a long break between races, that pretty much everyone had forgot that. But I have no doubt that the guys from Mercedes will have dotted their I's and crossed their T's on that. Well, that brings to an end this video. Now I've got a bit more work to do here in the media centre at the Zandvoort track, but I will ask you to have a look at these links here for a whole lot of extra content. Thanks for watching.
And stay passionate.